Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Thursday night Hour of Power. My name is Andrew Paradowski, and I will be your co-host for the inaugural TNHOP here. With me, I've got Tanya Dubnikoff, race organizer and race participant, to join me on the hosting duties. How's it going, Tanya?
It's going great. I look at this field. We got 24 riders warming up here. And here I am going to try and commentate and ride in the race. So thanks everyone for being here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it looks like we have quite a few riders lining up here at the finish line. We will jump to that in a second. But before we do that, we just want to remind everyone who is joining us on the live stream today to head on over to the chat section and let us know who you are watching and cheering for. Or if you're riding by yourself and watching the stream, just join us in the conversation and have your say in the chat. We'll see if we can get you a shout out in the event. So with that, let's head on over to the RGT platform here, where we're in the Thursday night Hour of Power race number 1. Give me 1 second here to pull it up. There we go. And what you're looking at now is the reverse view of the finish line here, where all of our riders are presently waiting and excited to get going. As you can see on the race clock, we will be starting in just a little over 7 minutes. There are 4 races tonight, and the schedule is on your left right now. You'll see race number 1 is what you're looking at right now, our scratch race, 6.4 kilometers. That's starting in, like you said, just a little over 7 minutes. Coming up at 6:20 Mountain Time, we have our 4UP TT. It's an all-out sprint event for 800 meters. That's at 6:20 Mountain. Race number 3, our circuit race, which is a 3 by roughly 3 kilometer circuit. That's starting at 6:30, and the final event in the Omnium competition is the elimination at 6:45, where we'll be racing 3 starter laps on the Herne Hill Velodrome, roughly 500 meters. You still have to stay in the race. You can't get dropped in that one. But after the first 3 laps, Tanya, correct me if I'm wrong, every second lap, they're dropping how many riders?
3 riders.
3 riders every 2 laps. And that's the 3 riders who are furthest off the back and already haven't been lapped.
That's correct.
And if you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see some of our sponsors that are helping us out today. Tanya, can you tell us about the fine folks who are making this possible?
Yeah, I reached out to a few people that are part of bike racing in Calgary area, just to help sort of get this going and make it feel like it's a little bit of a race, you know, something semi-professional. And what else are you going to do on a Thursday night? The Mars landing has already happened, so you can watch that replay. We have Dr. Kinnenberg, father of Reed that's in this race, and Jackson Kinnenberg, both, you know, really good students of the sport. He's part of the Ortho group, and that's a group of orthodontists here in Calgary. 3 locations. They support cycling in Alberta, and wonderful clubs, different events. So great to have him supporting us. And then also Calgary's newest bike shop, Ride Bike and Service. This is Sean Traxler, father of Gabby Traxler, another athlete that's student of the sport from Calgary. Basically, they will pick your bike up, fix it on the spot, or bring it to their shop, fix it, and then drop it back off. So that's a very unique service in this sort of day and age. And they do great work. And their goal really is to get people on bikes. It doesn't matter if you're climbing up a KOM or just wanting to get your beach cruiser on. They'll do anything. And so wonderful to have them. And then lastly, we have my organization, Lead with Purpose. And I do a bunch of different things, coaching athletes from the young age with the Kids and Skids program to the youth endurance or elite endurance program. So we're just, you know, I'd like to make this bigger. The whole intention was to have a spot and a place for people to race track style events. And so thanks to those 2 individuals that reached out and said they're willing to help.
Yeah, that's great. This sport is certainly supported by the generosity of sponsors and volunteers. So if you know anybody who's interested in sponsoring a bike race or a bike team or cycling in general, be sure to reach out to someone you know in the industry and let them know that you'd be willing to pitch in, whether that's from money, in-kind services, or just volunteering. This sport certainly needs everybody to pitch in. We're looking like we're just a little under 4 minutes before we start our first race, the scratch race. Just a reminder to everybody when you're in this race that you do need to finish your ride before going to the next one. So after you have completed the race, go to your tablet or phone device that's running the RGT app and select End Ride, and then select the next one to make sure that you're on the start line. We'll remind everybody in between as well. And we'll try to cover all 4 of these races here live on the YouTube channel. And speaking of that, let's head on over to the chat window to see who we have with us. Jason Gillespie, funny enough, is our first commenter. He's saying that the live stream looks great. Thanks, Jason. We really appreciate that. A name that I recognize from the Canadian Virtual Junior Racing Series a few weeks ago, JB48, says, "Hey, Annabelle, Graham and Bop are watching from Ottawa." So it's great to see that you guys are back and watching the channel. How's it going, Graham and Bop? And also, hi, Tanya from Ottawa. Rob Stagg says, "Good luck, everyone." And just in now, Jonah Hubner says, "Let's go, Theus." So be sure to head on over to the YouTube chat window if you are watching us live here on the YouTube, and give us a shout out. Let us know who you're cheering for and any other things going on. So just with that, a few more minutes and then we will get underway. Any last words of encouragement or tips for the riders, Tanya?
Well, it's interesting because I can see in the corner of the screen that people are riding, and they're warming up, idling at about 1 to 3.5 watts per kg. So everyone's getting ready to roll out of the gate. I just finished a race with the young group, so I'm feeling quite warm. So let's hope that maybe this time me and Alex Ungaro can battle it out at the back of the pack and see if we can survive the 6K race within a certain amount of time limit from the winners.
And judging by the profile of this particular course, this is fairly flat, so this will likely be a sprinter's game, unless there are some enterprising riders who feel like they can manage to escape from the group in the 6 kilometers and hold off on a solid attack time trial style. So we'll see how this all plays out. This is your second race of the series, is that correct, Tanya?
This is our third
race of the series. So you've already seen some of these riders, and you've seen what they can do in the Omnium. Are there any riders that the folks at home should be looking at?
You know what's great is that every event, every race we've had, there's been sort of stars sort of shining in the rough, and a lot of them have been the young athletes. So you can look at, for example, Aaron Stagg, U15, came fourth in the elimination last week. Amazing ability just to sort of hide in there and tuck and draft and come out fourth with a couple of strong guys from Saskatchewan that were here last week. So you never know. We sort of create the event so they're short, they're sweet. So hopefully riders with the big power can hang on. And then some of the other ones that have bigger engines can just maintain their speed and sprint at the end.
Good advice from Tanya Dubnikoff now. 30 seconds to go before we start race number 1 in the Thursday night Hour of Power. So if you're not on your bike and pedaling, you are going to be late. So put down what you're holding on to, run over to your trainer and get going and get those legs spinning, because you only have about 15 seconds to go. And the way that these short races go, you want to be firing right off the beginning. I want to see all those green bars start turning to yellow and red pretty soon. Here we go. We're off in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're off. And it was a big start here. And we're going to try to follow the lead group here. Give me 1 second. Here we go. I found the group. Always takes a few seconds to get this going with RGT and our ability to spectate the event. Let's take a look at the drone footage of this. We still have a fairly large pack going on right now. You can see on screen everybody is riding together. It's a lot of activity here a lot of motion around the front. One of the neat things about RGT that I like over some of the other platforms is the ability for the riders to actually look like they're riding, and I won't name names, but other platforms, when they're taking corners, they're sort of taking it all the way down the middle. It doesn't seem natural. RGT's physics tends to look really, really good for this sort of thing. So we've got Gonzalez and Dowling, the Dowling sisters, brothers, twins. Tanya?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's Jason's group.
That's Jason's group. We'll have to check in and see if somebody on the chat can let us know. They were mixing it up in the front there together. It looks like Kay Germain is now leading out with a nice little pack. Let's turn on our race leader overlay here and find out who is in the front now. So it looks like we've got a nice group here up in front, with the Dowlings moving on up. Kinneberg, Dick, Andres, Volstad. Let's move on up a little bit here. There we go. A Stag in the lead with Thomas close by. Dick, Vic Ryder, Dowling, Kinneberg, Metz, Cowan, all mixing it up in the front. As we say, this is a very short race, so it's going to be high intensity. You're looking at that wattage on the left-hand side. A lot of riders are putting out in the 4 to 5 watts per kilogram range. With only 6 kilometers to put out here, I don't think anyone is going to be soft pedaling it for much of the race. A lot of switching back and forth, riders taking advantage of the draft, sitting in. Looks like E. Dowling is in the corner on the inside, leading the race out. It's never good to be in the wind too much. So you're going to be expending a lot of energy, and everybody else in the back can sort of sit on and wait for that sprint. So we'll see how this plays out a little bit. Go back to the drone here. Still a lot of mixing it up in the front. Let's take a look where we are in the race. About halfway through now, 3.9 kilometers. You look to the top right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a little bit of data about the race. Those little upside-down white teardrops, those are the riders, and underneath is the data for the race. So about 2.4 kilometers elapsed, 3.7 left, and as you can see, it's a fairly flat course. Only 5 meters overall have been climbed, and even that can just be a vagary of these magic roads designed for this particular course. A lot of the courses here on RGT are designed after specific locations and in the real life. This one is based on the Fiorino Tuscany Loop. It's a new course, so we'll see how everyone fares out. But it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this one plays out. Lots of turns. It does feel like a motorway course as you look at the overall layout of the map. So this reminds me a lot of any of those races that you've been on that have been on a motorway. For those of you who have been to Ontario, there's a couple that happen there in Mosport, the Canadian Tire Motorsport Complex, and then closer to Ottawa, there's the Calabogie Motorsport Park. So quite often they're holding races on these kind of courses. They're interesting because the turns are kind of designed for very, very high speeds and stuff like that. So and they have embankments that allow you to take the corners, but still a lot of riders tend to overjudge them. But of course here on RGT, it's almost impossible to get knocked off the course, so you can basically take it as hard as you want. Looking back at the course, a little bit of a change in the front. We've got Germain, Dowling, Thomas, and Andres sort of leading out the pack, but of course everything is sort of switching around. I'm guessing the Manitoba crew is all wearing the yellow jerseys, the yellow and green jerseys. That was what they were wearing in the Canadian Junior Virtual Series, so it makes sense to me that this is the Manitoba crew all wearing green and yellow. And are you in the back there, Tanya, as well?
I am.
Excellent.
I figured since we're in Tuscany, I should look around and see some of the sights, right? Absolutely.
Checking in with our chat online, it looks like we've got a couple more shout outs. We've got Go Loke from Kirsten Pache. Frank Kovac says, "Let's go, Tanya." Maybe that one was for you there. Rob Stagg says, "Go hard, Aaron." And Jason Gillespie has confirmed it's 2 brothers, 1 sister, and a dad. So I guess there are 4 Dowlings in the race there. So it's great to see cycling continuing to be the family affair that it is. A lot of A lot of riders come into the sport because their parents were involved in it, and it doesn't take long for some of these young riders to eclipse their parents and do really well and start leaving them behind in the racing. 2 kilometers left in this race now, and it looks like it's been sort of broken up into 2 distinct groups on the course. Let's see if we can take a look back at what's happening behind us here. Yeah, you can see it's a nice big pace line, the line of death as some people have called it. Small little group of 6 or 4 riders here leading the way in the front, and things have shattered pretty much now. I guess the move is made with about 2 kilometers to go. 1.5 kilometers left to go. We're coming up on the Flamme Rouge, so to speak. I don't think they actually put one in here, but in about 500 meters, that'll be the final K to go. Taking a look behind to see what the race looks like as well. It's still drawn out, and a couple riders still switching it up. It's anyone's game. We still have roughly 16 riders here in the lead group, and then there's about a 200-meter gap from that group of front 16 to everyone in the back. And as you notice on the top of the screen, it's really spreading out a bunch, and in that back group. So if you see this little red piece that's over the teardrops, that's us, and then behind us it's sort of starting to spread out. The pace is getting really high, and they're not grouped together anymore. They're in that nice solid line. So this really is going to come down to who's got the sprint. It's been an all-out time trial for 5 kilometers. Now we're down to 900 meters to go. So who's it going to be? We've got N. Dowling looking really good now, coming up to the front, putting his nose into the wind, and he's putting a little bit of a gap now. We got a couple of meters countered now by, I believe it's Annabelle Thomas from Alberta there, and the group's back together. A couple of Manitoba riders in the group. 700 meters to go. I think the pace has slowed down just a little bit. People are sort of looking around and saying, okay, who's going to go? When is the time to move? Just a little over 0.5 kilometer now. And the Manitoba group with a few Alberta riders are taking off on the left there. We got a nice view here, about 16 riders, 15, 16 riders looking to sprint it out. 400 meters. We're following N. Dowling, moving up. 3, second position, in first position. 300 meters to go. We're going to back off a little bit to watch this sprint. And there it is, Jay Gillespie, Jason. $50 meters to go. All right. Nice little group of 6 riders. We weren't able to catch their names as they went across the line. But if we take a look at the riders list on the left there, and it's only showing us the top 17. So we're going to wait to see if we can get some detail from, we have, Tanya, you said Max was going to be posting our top 5 for us in the chat?
Absolutely.
There we go. Now we got a view of our riders cooling down after the end of the race right now on screen. Reminder to everybody that that is the end of race 1. For those of you still competing, go hard and go strong. But once you're done, be sure to head over to your app and end your ride, and then head on over to race number 2 and make sure that you are in the event and on the start line, which will begin in just a little over 10 minutes. So congratulations to everyone who competed. I'm looking at our list right now, and if this is the correct order, it looks like it wasn't N. Dowling took the win there with Reed Kinneberg in 3rd, Jay Gillespie in 4th, R. Cummings in 6th. Missing a few riders because they probably already shut off. I told them to leave the race too early. So, have you finished your race then, Tanya?
Oh, I'm still rolling in.
Still rolling in. Okay.
You know, I really wanted to soak up the Italian adventure. These guys are really fast.
Yeah, a lot of strong talent on the road there, and you can see on the screen that everyone is still riding and cooling down. So don't just stop, of course. Never a good idea to do that kind of an effort and then just stop cold. So keep spinning at a nice low tempo, maybe 50% of your FTP, and just spin it in before we're going to get going on the next race, because that's a big one. We have the sprint coming up, so we're going to have to put a lot of big power out in that one. So with that, we're going to go and change over to the next race. So everyone, if you just want to, please stand by. We're going to stay with you. You don't need to change the stream. It'll be the same stream, but we're going to switch on over to race number 2. We'll be back with you in a moment. All right, and we're back. We're now logged into race number 2. This is our big sprint event. We're looking at 800 meters straight, just hard, just go. And we'll be starting in about 9 minutes. So if you are still finishing the race, the previous race, be sure to finish that one up quick and make sure to end the ride and start race number 2 so you can get on the start line. This one is a time trial format, so it'll be going in 4-minute in 15-second intervals, I believe, of riders of 4, and you'll have your own personal countdown, so I won't be able to actually give a sort of a countdown start, but the first riders will be off in about 8 minutes and 30 seconds, and then we'll see every 15 seconds or so a new group of 4 moving off. So let's check in with Tanya there. Tanya, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Good thing about being a sprinter is that you have quick recovery. So that was a tough one. So this is really unique, this race. So we're trying to get something as close to what would be a sprint on the track. So say a 5th through 8, where there's 4 riders on the track. So what we created was 2 laps. So it's just under 800 meters. And this is a velodrome in Belgium, I believe, or the course. And the idea is that the riders can draft. And so usually in time trial format on RGT or other, you're not allowed to have draft. So we kept the drafting on. So if someone's sneaky and they can maintain a really good pace, maybe they sit on someone's wheel and try and pass them near the end. And so it'll be a bit confusing because you'll see a group of 4 going and then they have to come by the start line on their second lap. So hopefully we'll be able to watch it clearly. And the goal is to maybe use this having sprint ladders, so someone wins this event, they can go in another event, and we'll just try and have a more of a sprint style race. That's sort of the unique part of this 4-up time trial.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing it for the first time. I'll apologize to our viewing folks at home if we don't get it technically right. Following the different riders involves a series of keystrokes that basically are difficult to sort of achieve, and I haven't done it with this particular race, so if we're not able to follow the first race, hopefully I'll get it by the second or third heat. It's an interesting concept. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and hopefully maybe in the future platforms like RGT will be able to actually do actual velodromes and to see what that would look like. I mean, I can't imagine it would be terribly difficult based on what they're able to achieve now, but that would certainly be something to see. All right, so with that, let's head on over to our RGT platform and find out who we have here on the line. Looks like we've got quite a few riders already lined up and finished, ready to go. You can see on the screen that there are 4 riders listed right now. Normally you see a few more. I'm going to guess that these are the 4 riders going off. Is that correct, Tanya?
I believe so.
Okay, so
I actually see a whole list of people, so I can't exactly see, but judging on the time, I think I'm going to be the second group to go.
So the first group is going off in 5:45. What's your clock at?
Oh, I'm at 5:41, so maybe I'm part of the first group.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, I better sharpen my elbows.
Well, that would make sense because I believe that you mentioned that in this particular race it's by order of registration. Is that correct?
Well, it's who, from what I understood, it's from who enters the event. So if we quit one event and then entered this one, the first person that entered would be first, is what I understand. But
Okay.
what it could be is who signed up first on the start list on RGT. That could be it. If that was the case, I would be the first off.
All right. Just a reminder to everybody at home, if you haven't signed off of the last race, be sure to end the ride and click on to ride number 2 so you can be on the start line and get it. 4 riders off, 800 meters. It's a full-on sprint event, so we're going to see a lot of high numbers in the output of these riders. We're looking at the start line right now, and another beautiful magic roads with the foliage and the deer in the corner there to make it realistic. Just a little under 4.5 minutes before we go. Let's check in with our folks at home to see if anyone else is joining with us on the chat. Rob Stagg says, awesome work, everyone. Jason Gillespie is giving us the names of the riders. So we've got Ness, Ewan, Gord, and Maya in our family affair there. And Rob Stagg says, way to go, Tanya, again. So he's a big fan of yours, I guess.
Well, you know, people see me standing around with these athletes day in and day out, and same thing with Jason and Alex, right? So it's this passion and love that we have for, you know, getting them to this or helping them get to this ability, and you know, it's really fun to be racing, and I'm doing my best. But it's just a pure joy to be here, and actually, that's the great thing about this event is that you could make it anything. You could make it for people, certain categories, you can make it whatever. So in the future, if we did want to have people that wanted to race a little more, wanted to look at the scenery, we could do that. And so I think that that's the beauty of this platform. But also, the big thing with having COVID is that there's no racing. And so having something like this gives the athletes something to look forward to. You could say, oh, it's not a real race, but I bet you that every one of these people has a little bit of the nerves to say, oh, I'm racing, and then, oh, it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be broadcast live. So I think that's the important thing around having an event like this is that you're practicing. Yes, you're warming up. Yes, you're out here with a bot, and it's the virtual world. But you are still drumming up and having those feelings of a real race, and that cannot be replicated, and COVID's not going to take that away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the best thing about having this is that we get a little bit scared early. We have some great results. Oh, I feel good. Okay, I'm going to do this event. Boom, they go out and same thing. So that's why this is so important, and everyone to be here no matter what ability.
Absolutely, and the pandemic has certainly just accelerated what was already a growing concept in the cycling world, especially for Canada, where we're such a large country with a small population that it's really tough for everyone to get together in real life anyways to race and compete against each other. But now look, we've got riders from Alberta and Manitoba, Saskatchewan, all across the country are able to join in and compete against their colleagues and friends and other athletes from different jurisdictions to get that race experience, and it can only get better from here. You know, it's been the spark that's now exploded into a true discipline, which I think will just be added to that roster of road, track, cross, mountain, BMX, all the different cycling disciplines, and now esports is going to be right up there with it, and it's here to stay, that's for sure. So we are about a minute to go for our first group of 4 off. So we're going to make sure that we've got the right image here on the screen. We're going to look at the drone and
Andrew,
hopefully
a few people went off already.
Ah,
oh, here we go.
There we go.
They're going.
Hey, there we go. I'm able to follow them. Okay, so it's Annabelle Thomas. We got Thomas, Lorbecki, and Zorniak, and it's they're going to pass right through us. So 3 riders here. So they go through the start line. Oh, look at this. And yeah, that's going to be really interesting to sort of follow along because it's, like you said, 15 seconds of riders going off every 15 seconds. So it'll be interesting to find the group. But we've got Annabelle Thomas here right now, looking pretty strong here with Larbecki and Zorniak, and they're coming up to the start line, which I guess is the finish line. And we're going to check out and see what happens here. They're still riding. How many laps of this are they doing?
2.
2. Okay, so there we go. Let's see if we can follow another rider here. Here we go. We've got Kinneberg and Cowan. There we go. So the message on the screen there is telling me to go. I guess I'm going. Looks like Reed Kinneberg is going to end up... Oh, he's got Cowan right on his tail. Who's it going to be? Ooh, that was a close one. I don't know if that was lap 1 or 2 for them. They are slowing down, so that might have been Cowan just edging out Kinneberg. Let's see if we can find another group here. Germain, Hartle, and Smith, and a 4th rider wearing a white kit. Don't have a name here. Let's see what happens when we put on... Okay, so it's Zorniak, Hartle, Germain. Oof. A lot of names. This is quite the crazy thing to have watched. No, that's me. You don't want to watch me. As I said, folks, not the easiest thing. Here we go. Agaro out of the saddle, putting down some crazy watts. Let's see if we can take a look at the riders list. You can see on course the riders in red putting out 5-6 watts per kilogram. Here we go. It's the Manitoba crew. We have the Dowlings with Jason all riding together. I guess they registered at the same time. They know how to game the system, that's for sure. Yeah, that was a close one. Hard to tell. We'll have to see if we can look at the results after the race and find out who is going home with the big points and not having a great... There we go. Oh, look at that. Race results on the left. Perfect. I'm dead last, of course, because I'm not riding. Let's see if we can move on up. Oh, I just saw Tanya Dubnikov there on screen.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
I had Alex in my group.
So that might
He
be
passed me.
that might be the end of the race, because I am not able to watch anybody else. So well, that's it. That was quite the exciting event. Not the easiest thing to do in a production venue, especially if you've never seen it before. So hopefully everybody got some enjoyment out of watching me sporadically jump around to different riders. Congratulations to everyone who was able to do well and get the result that they were looking for. We are going to move on to our next race, which is, of course, our 3x3 circuit race, which starts at 6:30. So that's in 7 minutes. That was a quick one. It's to make sure that everybody is
Got the results here.
we have results.
Here, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, so we got M. Dick at 51.8. We got G. Dolling at 56.6. E. Dolling at 56.7. Just missed it there. N. Dolling at 56.79. So good coffee dinner table discussion. Jason came 5th. Alex came 6th. Kinneberg 7th. Cowan 8th. Just really close guys. Reed and Cowan, I know they're good old buddies. And then Ken Germain in 9th. And let me refresh my screen. So Magic YYC Riders 57.8, Alex Volstead at 57.9. And we have T. Hartle, A. Smith, G. Metz, Reed Cummings, and Gunter, Aaron Stagg. And we have Roldan, and then Watchman, and then Andres.
Right on. There you go.
Those are your top 20.
Result for the top 20 from Tanya Dubnikov. Sorry, everyone at home who had to watch a brick wall on that, but I think her computer was just off the screen on that one. We'll be working out the kinks in the future on this one. Of course, it's always a little bit tricky on the first one. But with that, we have about 5 minutes to go before the start of the next race. So we're going to put you on a standby while we move on over. Hang tight, folks. All right, we're back, and now we're about to head on over to race number 3. This is our 3 lap of the 3K crit course, and this is the crit course from the Tour of Bonus. So this was generated from a GPX file from that live crit. It may not have the exact look of the feel of that race, but it certainly is the right track for that one. Let's head on over and join with Tanya. Tanya, can you let us know a little bit more about this course?
Yeah, so 2021 is going to be, I mean, we didn't have a race last year, but 2021 will be the 20th anniversary of the Tour of Bonus. And it's an event on August long weekend. We get riders from all over the province for sure, Canada, US, athletes come and race the road, usually a hill climb. So the first 2 weeks of this Hour of Power, we had the Bonus Hill Climb, and it's a 1.2K straight road, straight up, and it provides a lot of pain for athletes, but it's a real true test of power. And this is the crit course. So I pulled this crit course off of, I think it was Willie Gonzalez's Strava through Reed Cummings. Somehow we did that. So we pulled it off, and I put it in a GPX smoothing file, and here we have it. And so the road should be good. We don't see the community of Bonus and riding by BoCycle, but hopefully it'll give you the same ride feel and corners. So that's one thing on RGT, is that you ease up in the corners, or the trainer will electronically slow you down, because it's going to give you a feel, or the idea is it gives you a feel of real racing. And so this corner will definitely test that. There'll be a couple of bends and a little of a kicker. So hopefully it'll feel the same. Riders, there's many riders in here that have done that race, so please give us some feedback, and we can try and smooth it out if it's not perfect. But yeah, this is a great race, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how well the athletes do based on, their favorite. This is one of the favorite crit courses, and there's always people lined up, and parents and the town, and it's wonderful.
I think you nailed it right there in terms of the local benefit there for riders who have been able to participate in the crit before. They'll have a bit of an inside track, pardon the expression, on this particular race, so they'll know exactly when they'll have to go and make their move on this race. Still a short race in itself, only about 9 kilometers total, so it truly is more like a track race than it is a road race in terms of the distance. So some of that will certainly play out. But we'll see how everybody goes.
This race is only 3K, so it's a short little circuit race, just to keep the legs going, warmed up for the elimination. So
okay, there you go. See, I thought it was 9K, so I got it wrong by looking at the thing. Thanks for the correction.
Yeah,
and
no
with
worries.
that, we have about 30 seconds to go, so we're going to head on over and see how our racers are doing. They are lined up at the start line, ready to go, 30 seconds. So as Tanya says, it's a short little tune-up just before we get to the elimination race. Only 3 kilometers, so that means the circuit is super short, 1K circuit, doing 3 laps. And we're going to be off in about 15 seconds or so. So if you're not spinning up those legs right now, you should be doing that and getting ready to go. Heading on over to our drone view as we're ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And a big start from Metz right now. In the front, we've got Dick, Metz, Gonzalez, Kinneberg, and Cowan leading out the group. Let's take a look at the overhead and see what it looks like. Nice little group of 6 riders. On the left, everyone is still close together. We're seeing our top 14. You'll see the riders putting out a lot of big wattage, only 3K. You can be sure that everyone is going to stay in the red for a good portion of this. Let's see if we can move on back and get a better view of some of these riders here. Sometimes if you're following the lead rider, then you don't get to see everybody else. Still a nice tight pack formation, people taking advantage of the in-game physics and the draft. A couple of neat bikes here. Different colors, different kits. Let's see if we can turn on our distance meter. Looking at the top right here, you'll see that we've gone about 700 meters right now, 2.2K left to go. And also a relatively flat course, so no one really needs to climb. Again, this is really about track style racing. So this is more about trying to get everyone accustomed to these short kind of races here. 2K to go. Everyone's still roughly together. You can see on the screen at the top there that all of our little teardrops are roughly all together. Those ones at the back, that's just me. I'm not going very hard. Tanya, you're still mixing it up in the back of the group there?
You could say that. I'm actually having a leisurely ride. I just got a text saying that the updated results should be posted in the YouTube chat if anyone wants to see where they're doing.
Perfect. Head on over to the YouTube chat. Hopefully we'll get a link to that. Right now we've got a few new people joining. Tara Witten, live stream looks great, nice work. And Jason says, hi Tara. So they're having a nice little chat conversation right now. Hopefully someone will be able to link the live results to the chat so people can head on over to the live stream and check those things out. Coming up to the 1K to go mark, still anyone's game as our riders are all together. It's going to be a big sprint to the finish. And we'll see how this one plays out with our strong team Manitoba coming off of the sprint. Let's see if they have the energy left to do a repeat performance of what happened in the last race. The Flamme Rouge coming up now. You see the start line, 1K to go. This is the final lap. Riders getting the bell now. Everyone splitting it up. Kinneberg coming in off the left there. Not wanting to burst out too quickly right now, saving some energy, staying in the middle of the pack there. And we got a solo attack there. Looks like it is Jason Gillespie, the man from Manitoba, looking to go home with the gold with a nice little attack there. R. Cummings not countering. Gillespie now has about 30 meters on the pack with about a half a kilometer to go. Is anyone going to let this stay, or are we going to have a few people counter and go after? Oh, there we go. Team Manitoba staying in the front. Are they helping their teammate, or are they going to look to take Gillespie down? Let's move on up here. See if we can catch that finish. 300 meters to go. Gillespie still in the front now, but his lead has dropped to about 10 meters. Kinneberg, Germain, Cowan, Dick. Oh, and then it looks like Gillespie went a little bit too early. Did the little rabbit attack. Looks like Cowan and Dick are battling it out. 1-2. Kinneberg coming up the back right now. Who's it going to be? It's really hard to tell. And it looks like it's going to be Dick, Dowling, Cowan, Kinneberg, Hartle, Shipke, Germain, Cummings, Stagg, and Thomas. That's your top 10 right now. Whew, excellent race there. How's your leisurely ride going there, Tanya?
Awesome. I just stopped at Caden's Cafe. Got a little espresso for the elimination.
Oh, you're going to need that caffeine for sure. Elimination races test the mettle of a lot of riders. One of my favorite races on the track to watch. And it's certainly exciting thing to be able to sort of watch the pack go all together, and you can almost tell who's gotten themselves in trouble because of the way the track is designed, and they're in a pocket that they're not going to get out of. Maybe we won't be able to get that kind of an effect here, but it certainly still is a fun race. For those of you who haven't been in these races before, we're going to do an elimination race for our final Omnium. And it's going to be first 3 laps of the 500 meter circuit are neutral, but you still can't get lapped. If you get lapped, then you're eliminated from the race. And then after that, every 2 laps, 3 riders get eliminated. And those are the 3 riders who are furthest off the back. And the system will let us know through messaging which of the 3 riders have been eliminated. And we keep going until there are either 3 or less riders left, and then that will be the final elimination. Now, Tanya, in this particular race, is it like the track where the final elimination is a sprint to the finish, or is it still like the sort of eliminated riders are just eliminated?
So the final is the last lap with 3 riders.
Yep, and that will be a standard sprint to the
Correct.
finish. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
You know, the one thing, actually, good question.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be 2 laps or 1 lap.
Okay.
You'd think it would be 2 laps, because that's the way we programmed the race, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe I could. I'm gonna find out. Let me call someone.
Perfect. And
so that'll be it. That's a really good question, Andrew. Because I didn't think that through. I'm not quite sure if it'll be 2 laps for the top 3 riders, and then 1, 2, 3, or if it'll just be 1 lap after the last 3 were eliminated.
Okay, well, while we do that and check out for our riders and viewers at home, we're going to go to our little standby screen and change over to race number 4. So stick with us for the final race here of the Thursday night Hour Power. All right, folks, we're back here, and we're just checking in with the system to find out how the Eliminator will finish for the final group of riders. Tanya, do you have that information available there?
Interesting thing, I'm talking to Maxine right now. He is an assistant or a volunteer with RGT, and he's helping with results. And so I'm just asking him, and we're not quite sure. So I'm just trying to think like a computer. What would a computer do when you plug in all the algorithms and the metrics? It seems like if there's 3 left, it would be 1 lap. So,
but they're eliminated every 2 laps. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm going to be a betting man and bet against you on this one, and think that it would be a final 2 laps for the final group, right? Because it doesn't to me, it almost doesn't make sense to sort of shorten it without a system setting for that type of thing. But we'll find out, and maybe the racers know because they've done this before. If anybody in the chat happens to know, that would be great. Let us know. Speaking of the chat, I've posted the link to the rgtdb.com results for the last event. It might be that no one was able to post it in the chat because there might be a filter preventing links from showing up in the chat, but because we're doing the stream, if you guys can let us know in the chat that you can see it. It looks like it's showing up on my end here. But if you can see the link that I posted to RGTDB, somebody please just give me a thumbs up, or yeah, we can see it. That would be great. And Tara has been great with giving us the total for the Omnium. Looks like Dowling is first with 7 points. Dick is in second with 9 points. Cowan third with 13 points. And Kinneberg fourth with 14 points. And thanks, Rob Stagg, for letting us know that the link is now live on the on the chat there. So a little under 4 minutes to go before we start our final race in the Omnium here. This is our Eliminator, one of my favorite races on the track. And as we said before, this is a race that starts off with a 3-lap neutral, almost neutral, because if you end up getting lapped, then you are eliminated. But it's only 500 meters, so just stay with the group. Hopefully everyone will play nice and not do it like it's a Nations Cup, and neutralization means riding at 90% of race speed. Hopefully everyone will allow riders to just sort of get up to speed, and then when the messages go for elimination, then that's when it's time to go and do your worst. Reminder that every 2 laps, 3 riders off the back will be eliminated. So if you have fallen off the group, then there is a good chance, unless there's riders behind you, that will be your final lap. And of course, we'll have to wait to the end to see how the game mechanics play out for the final 3 or less riders who are left to go in the race. Find out if they're doing 1 or 2 laps. My money's on 2, so hopefully the riders will be able to figure that out and we'll be able to stay with it. Not having broadcasted this one as well, we'll see how the camera that we've been given to follow the race will handle my particular avatar not being in the race. A couple of messages on the right there. So if you're got your RGT screen app up, take a look to the right and you'll see some messages from Tanya and others. Just a little over 2 minutes left, so why don't we head on over to our race there and check out what's happening on the field. Here we go. The riders are lined up at the start line. 31 riders online waiting to go. So if we start with 31 riders and no one gets laps, we are looking at a 20-lap race with a it'll be, because it's just a little over 30, so I think it'll be about 20 laps or so. So this could be a 10K race in total. So a lot of action, a lot of fun. Hopefully everyone does really well and gets the result that they are looking for. 90 seconds to go, so if you're not on your bike warming up, you better head on over, and if you haven't logged out of the last race, be sure to do so and join this one. Otherwise, you might miss the start, which is happening in just a little over a minute. Tanya, any words of advice to the riders for the elimination?
No, I hope that they have enough power left. That last race was pretty quick and pretty fast, so this is different than we've done before. Every other elimination, it was 1 out per lap, and so this just creates a little bit of style, different tactics with sort of odd numbers. You don't quite know, so there will be a little bit of heads up watching the display and watching who gets eliminated and seeing how many riders are left. So it's a bit of a different game than hearing someone breathing heavy behind you or getting the senses from what the bikes sound like in a real race. So you're using different skills and your senses. So you're reading the information, you're feeling how things are going, and so you might have to move. You might have to move quickly. So we'll see what happens.
All right, very good. Don't get caught. That's the motto of the final race here. Starting in about 20 seconds, 3 neutral laps, then 3 riders out every 2 laps. Riders should be now starting their engines and spinning up because it is about to start in 10 seconds. Good luck to everyone on course and have fun. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. 3 laps neutral. And Reed Kinneberg off the front, driving the pace right now, 4.5 watts per kilogram. Let's take a look at how this is playing out. This sure looks neutral to me. Exactly how an elimination race neutral should play out. Everyone is flying at 90% of their overall power. Lots of riders jostling for position. They don't want to be stuck. A few riders already off the pack. These might be the unfortunate few riders who are eliminated. Hopefully they can stay in before we even start counting laps. This is lap number 1. So 2 more neutral laps and then we start elimination. Hopefully I don't get eliminated out of this race and can't follow along, so we'll see how that works. If that's the case, then we're going to have to figure something out for the future rides, that's for sure. And well, Thomas in the front there looking strong. Kinneberg, Metz, Bolstad mixing it up in the front, putting their nose into the wind early. All other riders are sheltering in place just like we are at home. How are you guys doing out there in Alberta with the pandemic? Are you guys in any sort of restricted position right now?
Every day is like Groundhog Day for us, but yes, there's things are lifting up.
Well, that's good. We just got out of our lockdown here in southern Ontario. Only Toronto and Mississauga are still required to stay in home and stay in place, but all the other regions are still restricted. So lots of indoor racing in our future, that's for sure. So we are coming up now, the last 100 meters. This is our positioning lap. So, and it looks like a couple of riders have been eliminated already from being lapped, unfortunately. So sorry that happened. Here we go. I have been lapped and eliminated. I was not riding very fast off the back there, so I am out. But hopefully that'll let me stay and watch the race. All right, and we have the race results on the left. Let's see if we can get our I would like to see, there we go, distance and slope back. Okay, here we go. Coming up on so it's every 2 laps we're eliminating. We are now coming on, here's the bell, I believe, for the next set of laps, and I'm gonna have to turn off the rider list here because it's just sort of underneath the results. Elimination lap initiated by G. Metz, so we get to find out who the rider was off the front. So Metz receives the bell. 350 meters to go. Coming up on our first elimination, even though it said elimination earlier, that was due to being lapped in the neutral lap. 200 meters to go for our first elimination. Let's take a look at the back of the race. Kinneberg, Metz, coming out front, wanting to not be in the back there. I think there are some riders off the back, so I don't think the back of the group has to worry too much. Next, 3 riders eliminated: Jason Gillespie, Kay Zorniak, and El Savard. The next 3 riders eliminated out of the race. 2 laps to go now to our next elimination. A little less than 2 laps to go, about 250 meters before we get the bell. Reed Kinneberg bringing up the rear right now, sheltering in place, getting a little bit of a rest, but he knows that he's got to be up front, as you can see him cycling through the riders and coming out in the front now. Kinneberg's got his nose into the wind. 50 meters to go. Bell coming up right now. Tanya, I got to get a bell sound for this. That would just be like awesome. All right, G. Metz in the front again. And it looks like, Tanya, you have been lapped, unfortunately, so you are now out of the race along with me. So you'll be able to commentate very well, just like myself, who was out of the race in the beginning. Didn't even make the first elimination. 200 meters to go. Kinneberg still in the front right now, and Metz is in 3rd position, mixing it up. Let's take a look behind and see what's happening right now. A couple riders off the back of the pack, so if there aren't riders fully off the back now, those are the riders who are going to be eliminated. And the elimination, and the results are not appearing yet. I guess the system awaits until those riders have actually crossed the line to let them know that they've been eliminated. In track racing, if it's very obvious that the riders have been eliminated because they're off the back of the pack, the announcers will typically call it right away to let the riders know who are on the back of the pack, to make sure that they know that they haven't been eliminated and can continue racing. And that's especially important on really short tracks like 250s or less. Okay, so we've got our 2 other riders. So it was R. Cummings and Kay Novi who didn't make the cut that time. So it looks like now that they are including the lapped rider in that group of elimination. So it's not lapped and eliminated, it's just 3 riders every time. So if you hear, and you're watching us on the live stream, and you hear that someone has been eliminated due to being lapped, then you know there's only 2 more positions to go on that one. So it looks like we got the bell already. We initiated our elimination lap. Kinneberg, Metz, and some Manitoba riders. Cowan, there we go, in the front. Annabelle Thomas staying in a good position now. A couple of riders in the back there. Looks like we got Badke, I think that's the Australian flag there, might be in trouble if there is nobody off the back to take that. So we're through the line right now. Elimination coming on up, and it looks like A. Sierra is our first rider out in that group. waiting to have our follow-up riders come across the line to let you know who is going to be in that triplet of eliminations. A lot of it.
Okay.
Go on, Tanya.
Yeah, so Dave has just been lapped, so he's eliminated. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the first rider with the next 3 eliminated with the next lap.
Maybe.
Because it seems like Novi, Cummings, and then Sierra were 3.
Yep.
And then there's
Andres, Embry.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm learning new things about RGT now. As you can see, I've got my mouse on the screen moving around. Because I was out of the race, I have to go and scroll the list every time because it keeps wanting to show the world that I finished dead last by not starting the race. But of course, this is just the nature of this particular platform that we have to be entered into the race to be able to watch. So I believe there's another elimination coming up right now. Kinneberg Cowan in the front, and there's a rider that just got lapped. So let's check out to see who that is. That was one of the Dowlings. That was G. Dowling, got lapped just before the elimination. So we'll find out who else will be joining Dowling in that group. I'll have to go to my handy dandy list from Jason Gillespie. Oh, it's too far up in the chat right now. We have a list here. Gord Dowling was eliminated by being lapped. So Gord is sitting in 20th position right now. Lots of activity in the chat right now. Maxime Turcotte was really helpful in showing the Omnium points there as well. Thanks for that, Maxime. So Maxime says he agrees with you that it's it's only 1 lap after the elimination. So, but it will be written when it's the last lap. So everyone will get that last lap message. So that's a really key point. Everyone will get that last lap message in there. To let them know that there is only 1 lap to go. So pay attention to your screen when you're coming across the finish line. Joining Gord there on the last elimination wrap was MYYC rider. That was M Calgary rider, and A Ongaro, finishing 18th, 19th, and 20th respectively. Looking at our screen right now, Kinneberg Cowan, Thomas Badke, and our team from Manitoba still mixing it up. And Gord is the dad, Jason says. So dad was out. Okay, another elimination as the list scrolls up there. Let's head on up this list to see who we've got. And it looks like, unfortunately, it's D. Badke being eliminated in the last one. So Badke will be finishing in 17th position. Total time 8 minutes 35 seconds. Another elimination, unfortunately. Keep scrolling the list, so we're going to have to scroll up and see who it is. It's T. Lorbetsky in the 16th position, and our final rider in that group of 3, and it is Jay Roldan. 14 riders left to go in this elimination, so we're going to go down to 11, and then 8, and then 5, and then 2. So if it works out that way, it looks like it's going to be 2 riders in a match sprint for the finish, with based on what Maxime and yourself, Tanya, have said, that it'll be a 1-lap all-out 500-meter sprint for those 2 riders.
And I'm thinking this race is turning out to be a race of attrition. Like you can get so much draft within the group, but we've been going for, 10 minutes now, and it's looking like, has it been 10 minutes? Yeah, it's looking like, fatigue is going to be playing more of a role here. Absolutely.
You can see in those speeds averaging 45 kilometers an hour that it is certainly a tough race for those who aren't used to traveling at those speeds. 3 more riders now eliminated. They have joined the Fallen. Let's scroll up this list and find out who we've got in 12th position. That's K. Germain. In 13, Aaron Gunter. 14th, D. Schnipke. So those are your 3 riders now, 12th to 14th, who have been eliminated. I think for the next one we'll have to get those sound effects too, the bow 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 kind of stuff. But we always joked about doing that at the track, and this would be a fun venue to do that for sure. But hopefully everyone is having fun, and the bell has rung. Elimination lap initiated by N. Dowling. Only 11 riders on track right now, and it looks like there is someone. I think this is a rider who's off the back. They might be the next one out. We'll get a message fairly quickly if that is indeed a lapped rider. or we won't get the message until they have come up to the finish line there. 150 meters to go. Kinneberg out of the saddle. Thomas now in the lead. It's a 1-2 Thomas Kinneberg. A. Smith off the back, but again, I think there are more than 11 riders. We got 4, 8. Oh, this might be the group. There might be a hard elimination here. Yeah, it looks like it. Yep. And there we go. Scrolling up the list. Let's find out who was out in that one. It is A. Smith, A. Stagg, and M. Dick. So that's our 3 riders out. 8 riders remain on the course. And they are all together. Let's take a look here. We've got 5, 6. Yep, all 8 riders are riding in a pack here. So in this group will be our next set of eliminated riders. 3 riders will be going out in just a little over 500 meters. Here we go, coming across the finish line now. Riders getting the bell. Cowan leading the charge. Elimination lap initiated by G. Metz. Volstad still in it. Kinneberg. A little bit of a stretch happening right now. Let's take a quick look behind and see if this is... Oh, it looks like Thomas is in trouble right now. We got Thomas and another rider just edging off the back right now. Looks like if they can't bridge up to this group, then it might be over for them. Kinneberg taking the lead on this one. Kinneberg and Cowan coming in together. Let's take a quick look behind, and yeah, for sure we've got 3, 6 riders. Oh, it's going to be a sprint here right across the line. Ooh, it was a tight one. One of those riders in that group of 6 is going home. Not going to be going home with the gold for this one. Taking a look at the list. So in 6th place, it's Annabelle Thomas, 7th, T. Hartle, and 8th, Aaron Dalling. So Thomas, Hartle, Dalling in 6th through 8th. 5 riders left. Cowan, Kinneberg, Metz, Volstad, and... hopefully I can get to the name here on the list.
You can see them battling the watts per kg. They're going anywhere between 3 to 6 within that last corner. So it's super impressive to see. Annabelle almost made it. She was on the front. Maybe that was her last little attempt to try and stay in the group. And you could just see it really 5 watts per kg. Super impressive by everybody. And Reed and Quinton. They're just trying to do their best to stay in the front here. You can see them rotate with their watts per kg. Super exciting. Great
Absolutely.
work, everyone.
Kinneberg, Cowan in the front. Volstad, if this was a track race, would be in trouble. It's really tough to get around riders, but the mechanics in RGT allow you to just sort of power up and get through, so there really isn't a dangerous spot in this. Here we go. 50 meters, Kinneberg, Cowan in the front. It looks like it's going to be Metz and Volstad. Oh, yes. Final lap initiated by R. Kinneberg. So yes, indeed, it is only 1 lap in the final thing, and the 3 riders who were out in that lap were, so it was Metz and Volstad. So interesting. It looks like it left 3 riders in. So it was down to 3 riders. So that second last elimination was only 2 riders. That's an interesting artifact. In any case, 100 meters to go. Kinneberg out of the saddle, looking to dominate this race with a big win. Let's take a look behind Kinneberg and see how much of a gap he's got. Oh, it's huge. Cowan and Dalling. Reed Kinneberg won the race. Let's scroll up here and check out who 2nd and 3rd place was. It was Cowan in 2nd and Dalling in 3rd. What a fantastic race. That was really, really exciting to watch, and I'm sure it was super exciting for you at home as well. Tanya, what do you have to say about that race there?
I mean, I think that was like the funnest part of the race, is that it's not very often that, you know, people watching at home or know that we don't really know what's going to happen, but the riders just shows their ability to just roll with it and get all the cues from what's going on in the race and do their best. And so it's a really, really good learning opportunity when we plug in, you know, 3 riders eliminated per 2 laps. I think that works in certain scenarios, but definitely you got to keep your head up. That's for sure.
And the whole race itself, the Omnium.
What do I think of the Omnium? Well, I'd like to know what other people think. I'd like people to say, hey, should we do this next week? It definitely takes Andrew time. It takes me time, but it takes you time to show an interest. And I think we're trying to make this super exciting. Is it worth our time? If it is, boom, say yes. And, we just want to know we're being heard. And if athletes need a break next week, because we've done this 3 times, maybe we'll go one more and then take a break. But it's catching on, and I think people really like it. And so it's great to watch. I hope everyone enjoyed it at home as well. Thanks, Andrew, and thanks to all our sponsors, the Ortho Group and Ride Bikes and Service. We couldn't have done it without you. And of course, every parent that's watching, you guys are the real sponsors. So thanks for watching. And Andrew, this was great.
Well, there you have it, folks. Our first live broadcast of the Thursday Night Hour of Power. We hope everyone at home had a good time. Thanks for joining us in the chat and cheering on your favorite riders and helping us out with the first broadcast. Of course, there's always going to be a few hiccups, but hopefully in the future we'll be able to smooth these things out now that we know a bit more about how everything reacts and how everything looks. So thank you again, Tanya, for joining me as well in the co-hosting duties. It was great. And you heard it from her, folks. Send in your information if you want to do this again next week, or what you think of it, or other neat things that you want to do. And tell your racing friends. This is an online streaming platform, so it's not just limited to Alberta or Manitoba or any of the provinces. I mean, we had Americans riding with us today. So if you know someone who likes riding and track style racing, hit us up and let us know what you want to do and the kind of racing you want to be. If you want to see tonight's results, they're going to be available on the website that hopefully was able to be posted in the chat room there. It's rgtdb.com. And that's where you're also going to go to get registration links for next races. So check in with Tanya and be sure to let her know what you think. And on behalf of myself, thank you very much for coming on out. Tanya, thanks for having me here, and looking forward to doing it with you guys once again. So check out the YouTube live channel for the next upcoming broadcast. And with that, we're out. Have a great night and keep pedaling.
Thank you.